Hey everyone, welcome back to JoinCoder. In this video, I'm going to show you how to restore a database backup in SQL Server Management Studio. Open SSMS and connect to your SQL Server instance. Before restoring the database, I'll first show you how to delete the existing one. Go to the Object Explorer, right-click on the database you want to delete, and select Delete. Here, you see the option Close Existing Connections. You need to tick this box. By default, database backups and log files are stored in the default SQL Server path. If you don't tick Close Existing Connections, the backup and log files will remain in this path and won't be completely removed. That's why it's important to check this option before proceeding. After ticking the box, click OK, and now the database is successfully deleted. Now, let's start the restore process. Right-click on Database and select Restore Database. Choose Device. Then click the Browse button to select the backup file. Click Add and locate your backup file. Select it and click OK. Once selected, SSMS will load the backup details. Next, go to the File tab. This shows the default restore path, which we checked earlier while deleting the database. By default, the database will be restored in this same path. However, I want to show you how to restore it to another location. To do that, I will select a different folder from Drive D instead of the default path. Now, go to the Options tab on the left panel. Here, you'll see an option called Overwrite the existing database. Since we are restoring to a new database, we don't need to check this option. If you were restoring over an existing database, you would need to enable this option. Finally, click OK to start the restore process. After a few seconds, you should see a message confirming that the database was restored successfully. Refresh the databases list, and you'll see that AdventureWorks 2019 is ready to use. Now, let's see how to back up this database. I want to show you the difference between a compressed and uncompressed backup. Therefore, I will back up the database to times once with compression and once without it. First, right-click on your database, go to Tasks, and select Backup. In the Backup Database window, if you see an existing backup file listed, remove it first to avoid overwriting issues. Next, click Add under the Destination section to specify where you want to save the backup file. By default, SQL Server saves backups in Drive C under the MSSQL Backup folder. I will first back up the database in this default location. Make sure to give the backup file a name with the .back extension. Then, click OK. Under Backup Type, make sure to choose Full to create a complete database backup. Now, go to the Media Options tab. Here, we will keep the default settings. Next, go to the Backup Options tab. Under the Compression section, you can choose to enable Compressed Backup to reduce the file size. For this first backup, I will enable Compressed Backup and click OK to start the backup process. Once completed, you'll see a success message. Now, let's check the backup file in the default folder. Here, you can see the backup file, and since we enabled compression, the file size is smaller. Now, Let's create another backup, but this time we will change the file path and not enable compression. Follow the same steps as before. Right-click on the database, select Tasks and Backup, and remove any existing backup files if needed. This time, I will choose a different folder for the backup file instead of the default path. I'll select a location in Drive D. Again, I'll give the backup file a proper name with the .back extension. Under Backup Options, we will keep the default settings, meaning we will not enable compression. Now, click OK to start the backup process. Once completed, let's check the backup file. Here, you can see the backup file, and since we didn't enable compression this time, the file size is not changed compared to the compressed backup. That's it for today's tutorial. You've learned how to delete, restore, and back up a database in SSMS 19. We also saw the difference between a compressed and uncompressed backup. If you found this helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon for more tech tutorials. See you in the next video.